What if I told you there's a hidden switch inside your mind? A switch that, once flipped, could silence all that noise out there and flood your brain with chemicals that just make you feel happy? And what if that constant rush of distractions pulling you every which way could actually be managed? Stick with me, because today we're not just talking about it, we're figuring out how. Let's be honest, do you ever feel like you're drowning in notifications, to-do lists, and an inner critic that just won't let up? You want to focus, to feel good, to really thrive, but it seems like the world today is designed to make you do the exact opposite. It's a daily battle for your attention, and yeah, it often feels like you're losing. This isn't just you, it's like a modern-day epidemic of scattered focus and a mind that's always feeling attacked. That feeling of being overwhelmed, of not quite hitting your potential because your mental energy is all over the place. That's the problem we're tackling head on. Agitate, the true cost of a scattered mind. We often don't realize just how much this constant mental clutter and the negativity it brings really affects us. It's not just about losing a few minutes here and there. Think about it. That project you keep putting off because you just can't find the mental space, that's lost progress, maybe even a lost opportunity. That irritability that sneaks in after a day of being pulled in a million directions, that puts a strain on your relationships. And that subtle, nagging anxiety from feeling unfocused and unproductive, that chips away at your well-being, day after day. This isn't just about feeling a bit stressed. If you let this distraction and negative self-talk go on for too long, it can have some serious downsides. We're talking about burnout, where your passion just fizzles out under all that constant pressure and mental exhaustion. We're talking about finding it harder to feel joy, where even the good moments are kind of clouded by that feeling of unease or the pull of the next thing demanding your attention. The constant noise of the world isn't just annoying, it's actively blocking the thriving life you deserve. Imagine what that adds up to over weeks, months, or even years. It's a heavy price to pay for a mind that's not being looked after intentionally. The hidden mental switch. But what if there was a way to take back your mental space? What if you could literally rewire your brain to not only fight off distractions better, but also to lean towards a more positive, empowered state naturally? This is where your hidden mental switch comes in. It's not some magic button, but it is based on real science about how your brain works and how you can consciously guide it. Think of this switch like your internal control panel. For a lot of us, it's been stuck on a default setting, pushed around by all the chaos outside and old, unhelpful ways of thinking. But you can learn to operate this switch. Flipping it means firing up the parts of your brain linked to calm, focus, and positivity. It's about realizing your mindset isn't set in stone. It can change. This switch is your built-in ability to shift how you feel inside, to choose how you respond instead of just reacting to things. And those happiness chemicals we talked about, they're real, and we'll show you how to get your brain to make more of them naturally. The scientific blueprint, how it actually works. This isn't just a bunch of feel-good talk. There's real science behind it. Let's talk about neuroplasticity. Your brain is constantly changing and adapting based on your thoughts and experiences. So, when you keep focusing on positive thoughts or do things that make you feel good, you're actually strengthening the brain pathways for those states. Think of it like building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Positive thinking isn't about sticking your head in the sand and ignoring problems. It's about actively choosing a more constructive way to look at things. When you do this, you light up your brain's reward centers, releasing things like dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine is often called the feel-good chemical, tied to pleasure and motivation. Serotonin helps with your mood, sleep, and feelings of calm and focus. Regularly thinking positive thoughts can genuinely change your brain chemistry for the better. On the flip side, Constant stress and negativity flood your system with cortisol, the stress hormone, which can lead to all sorts of issues, like trouble sleeping and a weaker immune system. But a positive mindset can act like a buffer against stress by making the amygdala, that's the part of your brain that handles fear, less reactive. So, this scientific blueprint is really about understanding how this all works and then using some smart strategies, our easy daily habits, to work with your brain, not against it. We're basically learning to shape our own mental environment, cultivating your positive mindset. All right, let's get practical. Flipping that mental switch and keeping it in the on position takes consistent, deliberate effort built through simple daily habits. These aren't huge life changes, just small, doable actions that really add up over time. First up, practice gratitude. This one's a powerhouse. Every day, maybe first thing in the morning or before you go to bed, make it a point to jot down 3 to 5 things you're genuinely grateful for. It could be as simple as a sunny day, a kind word from someone, or how good your morning coffee tastes. This practice actively shifts your focus from what you don't have to what you do have, training your brain to spot the good. Research even shows that a regular gratitude practice can actually change your brain and help you think more positively. Next, challenge negative thoughts. We all have them, right? That little voice inside that sometimes sounds like our biggest critic. The key isn't to shut these thoughts down, but to notice them and ask if they're really true. When a negative thought pops up like, "I'm not good enough for this," just pause. Ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? What proof do I have? Is there a more balanced or even positive way to see this? This is called cognitive reframing, and it's a skill you can build. Then, there's positive self-talk and affirmations. Actively swap out that self-criticism with kind, encouraging words, the kind you'd say to a friend. Start your day with affirmations like, "I am capable and I'll do my best today," or "I see challenges as chances to grow." Saying these out loud or writing them down can reinforce these beliefs and build up your self-esteem and resilience. It might feel a bit weird at first, but repetition is how you rewire those old thought patterns. Surround yourself with positivity. This means the people you hang out with and the stuff you read or watch. Try to limit how much negativity you're exposed to, whether that's endlessly scrolling through bad news on social media or spending too much time with people who just drain your energy. Look for uplifting content, supportive friends, and places that inspire you. And finally, for this section, practice mindfulness and meditation. Even just 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a massive difference. Mindfulness is all about being present in the moment without judging yourself. Meditation helps you train your attention, dials down anxiety, and improves how you handle your emotions. There are tons of free guided meditations online to help you get started. This practice helps you stay centered and less likely to fly off the handle when stress hits. These habits, when you do them consistently, start to strengthen those positive pathways in your brain, making it easier and more natural to tap into that positive state of mind. Cutting out distractions. Now, let's tackle the other side of this, silencing that constant noise. A positive mindset is a great thing, but it's tough to keep it up if your focus is always getting smashed to pieces. First, recognize your top distractions. Seriously, take a second to pinpoint what pulls your attention away most often. Is it your phone buzzing every 2 minutes? That itch to check social media? Email pop-ups? Trying to do too many things at once? Be honest with yourself. Knowing what they are is always the first step to changing things. Next, set clear boundaries with technology. Your devices are tools. They're not supposed to be your bosses. Turn off notifications you don't absolutely need. You really don't need to know about every single like or comment the second it happens. Set specific times to check email and social media instead of letting them interrupt you all day long. Maybe even try no phone periods when you need to focus or during family time. There are even apps and browser extensions that can block distracting sites for you. Embrace single tasking. That thing called multitasking, it's mostly a myth. What you're actually doing is switching your attention back and forth really fast between tasks, which is super inefficient and just drains your mental battery. Focus on one thing at a time. You'll do better quality work and feel way less frazzled. Use time management techniques. Tools like the Pomodoro technique, where you work in focused 25-minute bursts with a short 5-minute break, can be amazing for staying concentrated and not burning out. Another one is the quadrant system, where you sort your tasks by how urgent and important they are, helping you focus on what really moves the needle. Plan ahead. Before you finish your workday, or first thing in the morning, write down your top 2 or 3 priorities for the day. This gives your day instant structure and purpose, making it less likely you'll get sidetracked by stuff that doesn't matter as much. Control your environment. Create a workspace that helps you focus. This might mean clearing off your desk, getting some good lighting, or using noise-canceling headphones if you're in a noisy spot. Less physical clutter often means less mental clutter. If you can, make your workspace comfy and free of things that don't need to be there. Limit negative media exposure. Be mindful of how much news and social media you're consuming, especially if it tends to be negative or make you anxious. Actively look for uplifting or educational content instead. Practice mindfulness to recenter. When you do get distracted, and you will, you're human, use a simple mindfulness trick. Take a deep breath, notice the distraction without beating yourself up about it, and gently bring your focus back to what you were doing. This little distraction recovery routine is super important. These strategies aren't about getting to a state of perfect, unbreakable focus all the time. They're about building your attention muscle and creating an environment, both inside your head and outside, that helps you concentrate and do that deep, meaningful work you want to do. Before we go any further, I'm curious, what's the one biggest distraction you wrestle with every day? Let me know in the comments below. Just sharing it is a great first step, and you might find out you're definitely not alone. Synergy and benefits: how positivity and focus create a thriving life. Now here's where it all clicks together. Developing a positive mindset and cutting out distractions aren't two separate things. They're deeply connected and actually create this awesome upward spiral. When your mindset is more positive, you're naturally tougher when stress hits. This means distractions are less likely to completely throw you off or make you super frustrated. You're better able to handle interruptions and get back on track because your general emotional state is more stable and optimistic. Positive emotions, as research from people like Barbara Fredrickson shows, actually open up our perspective and help us see more solutions and options. This makes us more creative and better at solving problems. And on the other hand, when you actively cut down on distractions and boost your focus, you create the mental breathing room for positive thoughts and feelings to really grow. You get into flow states more often, where you're totally absorbed and engaged in what you're doing. That feels incredibly rewarding and naturally lifts your mood. Finishing tasks without constant interruptions gives you a real sense of accomplishment and skill, which then fuels more positivity and self-esteem. This teamwork between positivity and focus is what leads to thriving. It's not just about being happy, and it's not just about getting stuff done. It's about having this lasting sense of well-being, purpose, and feeling like you're effective. You feel more in control of your mind and your time. You're able to connect more deeply with your work, your relationships, and your passions. That constant noise starts to fade, replaced by a clearer internal voice guiding you toward what truly matters to you. This is really what transforming your focus and outlook is all about. Overcoming obstacles and maintaining momentum. Let's be real. Building new habits and changing mental patterns you've had for ages takes time, and it's not always a walk in the park. You'll have days when distractions totally win, or when negative thoughts feel like they're taking over. That's perfectly normal. The idea isn't to be perfect, but to make progress and bounce back. One common roadblock is impatience. You might not see huge results overnight, and that can be a bit disheartening. Remember, you're literally rewiring your brain, and that doesn't happen instantly. So, celebrate the small wins. Did you manage to stay focused for one whole 25-minute Pomodoro? Give yourself a pat on the back. Did you successfully catch and reframe a negative thought? That's a victory. Another hurdle can be old habits trying to creep back in, especially when you're stressed. When you feel yourself slipping, don't beat yourself up. Just gently notice it and get back to your practices. Ask yourself, what set that off? What can I do differently next time? This is where being kind to yourself is so important. Treat yourself with the same understanding you'd give a friend who's struggling. Keeping up momentum often comes down to being consistent and reminding yourself of your why. Why do you want a more positive mindset? Why do you want to cut distractions? Connecting back to these deeper reasons can give you a real boost when your motivation dips. Maybe it's to be more present with your family, to hit a certain career goal, or just to feel more peaceful inside. And don't be afraid to tweak your strategies as you go. What works like a charm for one person might not be perfect for you. Experiment. If one meditation technique doesn't click, try another. If a particular time management system feels too strict, adapt it. The aim is to find a set of practices that you can stick with and that genuinely help your well-being and focus in the long run. Remember, this is a journey of constant learning and tweaking. We've covered a ton today, from understanding that hidden mental switch inside you to looking at the science behind happiness and focus, and most importantly, getting into the easy daily habits that can really change your life. We started by admitting the problem, all that overwhelming noise and negativity in modern life that leaves us feeling distracted and far from our best. We looked at the real costs, lost productivity, strained relationships, and just not feeling great. But then we shifted to the solution. We talked about that hidden mental switch, your power to consciously guide your brain. We explored the science, how neuroplasticity lets you strengthen positive brain pathways, how positive thinking releases mood-boosting chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, and how it can protect you from stress. Then, we armed you with real, actionable strategies for building a positive mindset, practicing gratitude, challenging negative thoughts, using positive affirmations, surrounding yourself with positivity, and practicing mindfulness. For cutting distractions, figuring out your main culprits, setting tech boundaries, single tasking, using time management techniques, planning ahead, controlling your environment, and limiting negative media. We saw how these two things work together, creating an upward spiral where a positive mindset sharpens your focus, and better focus feeds your positivity, ultimately leading to a life where you don't just get by, you thrive. And finally, we talked about how to handle bumps in the road with kindness to yourself and by sticking with it. The power to build a positive mindset and cut through distractions isn't some far-off dream. It's right there inside you, waiting to be activated through consistent, deliberate practice. If this resonated with you and you're ready to start flipping that switch, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos on mastering your mind and living your best life. For your first step today, I challenge you. Pick just one habit we talked about, just one, and commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. Whether it's a 5-minute gratitude journal or turning off notifications for an hour, start small and build from there. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Remember, you have the game plan. Now it's time to get started. Go out there, build that positive mindset, cut those distractions, and start thriving. Until next time, take care.